everybody, this is Meredith from the Witty Gritty Paper Co. And today we are going to be talking about something that you may have heard before, maybe you've even tried it out, and that is plein air painting. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, plein air painting basically just means painting outdoors, painting on location. The phrase is actually French. It's en plein air, which translates to in the open air. And the idea is getting out of the four walls of your studio and getting right near your subject matter to have a more authentic experience. So if you've heard of urban sketching, it's a little bit like that too. I'll explain the differences in a minute, but I'm going to go over theory with you for just a couple minutes, and then I will get into the two methods that I think are best depending on what you like to paint, how much you paint. For plein air painting, and then I will have a little speed paint at the end of me plein air painting. So that should be a lot of fun. So let's just talk theory for a couple minutes. So first of all, you're probably like, well, why? Why should I go paint on location? What's the advantage? So it was originally started, I believe, started by the French Impressionist painters who wanted to go out on location, and the reason they did this was because they felt like it was easier to paint really convincing, distinct light if they could actually look at the subject. So plein air painting is usually something you do with landscape paintings. So usually outdoors nature paintings. Now urban sketching is different because you would normally be painting buildings or people. So that's one of their key differences. And the other reason that you paint outside is because when you're painting indoors, there's usually more than one light source around you. So you might be working from natural light, from lamps in your house, from street lights, whatever. There's usually more than one light source, and some of them are often artificial. So that can skew your ability to judge tonal range in your paintings, especially for landscapes. So people love to go paint outside for that reason, that they can really capture the light. It's a purer way to look at a subject. And honestly, it's a lot more fun than looking at a reference photo, I have to say. And it's not something that I do all the time, but I do like it a lot, every once in a while, particularly if I'm feeling stuck, not very inspired. And it's important to know that this isn't just a watercolor thing. So plein air painting can be done with oils or acrylics or whatever you like to do. The setup is usually a little different for those things, but a lot of people love it for watercolor particularly because it's one of the most portable mediums. So those are some advantages of plein air painting. Some disadvantages are obviously that your light is fugitive. So if you go out and you paint for a couple hours, the light is going to be different in the beginning of when you started painting to when you're near the end of your painting. So that's part of it, is that your scenery, although authentic, can change on you. And other than that, the weather can also change. So it can start raining, clouds can come over the sunlight, it can get super sunny when it wasn't before and make it hard to see. So there are also disadvantages because you're not working in a controlled environment. But that's basically the reasoning behind it, how it got started, and I'll walk you through my two preferred methods for plein air painting, depending on your style. So the first method of plein air painting is definitely the lighter method. So if you're a beginner or you really don't like carrying things around, then this is probably more the strategy for you. And basically, strategy one is the lightest possible load. So all you would take is the least possible to set up watercolor painting. You'd have a piece of paper, maybe a tiny block, maybe a tiny notepad. This is particularly small and it's just one sheet, but basically the least amount of paper, basically only the paper you plan to use you'd bring with you. You'd bring a travel set, probably a pan set. This is a Winsor & Newton one. And even this is larger than you'd have to go. You could just bring a couple pans. There are some really itsy bitsy palettes, so you could definitely go smaller than this. But I do recommend pan sets for travel painting, and then a water brush. So water brushes are awesome because you don't have to bring water, and you just bring the one brush. So this is like the lightest possible setup you could go with for plein air painting, and this would be my recommended way if you're a beginner. The other thing you could do if you want to go even lighter is you can bring watercolors that are on sheets. So you may have seen me introduce these a couple months ago in a video. These are Viviva color sheets. Basically, they are watercolor little swatches in a booklet. They're very concentrated and they are meant for portable painting. And another brand that makes something along these lines is Peerless. Not exactly the same. Peerless watercolors are actually made for photo tinting, but the idea is that the color is flat and extremely portable. So if you really wanted to go like the lightest possible thing, you could fit these in your pocket and go plein air painting. So that is one way you could do it. Now, I like this way. I've done it this way. What's nice about this is you could sort of spontaneously plein air paint. You could plein air paint like on your lunch break, which I think is nice. But some disadvantages are you have significantly less control over what's available to you. So say you're painting something and you like have this one color that you know would be perfect, but it's not in here or it's not in here. And, you know, therefore you can't use it in your painting. And, you know, you don't like the way it looks as much because it, you know, with a limited palette comes a limited palette. So there's that. And the other thing is you may not have your white pen or your white ink, your microns, you know, whatever else you like to bring. You may not have it in the moment. So this style of plein air painting is well suited for people who are doing studies, doing sketchbook stuff. If you're creating full art, you're probably going to want to go with method 2. You could, you know, you can of course create completed works this way, but I think that it's a little bit harder to get exactly what you want when you're going on super limited supplies. But that would be the first method for plein air painting. If you're new to it especially, and you could also bring something like this if you wanted masking fluid. This is actually a really nice masking fluid. It's got a little fine tip applicator, so this would be great, no spill out on location. And it's also got this pin in the cap to keep it from clogging. So that's another thing. If you like to use masking fluid a lot in your landscapes, then you could bring something like that. So that is method 1. Now method 2 is definitely something for the more experienced, committed artist. You know, this is not really something you'd want to get into if you weren't sure that you were going to use it. So I'm going to show you a product that I think is awesome for our method 2 here. And it is called the ETCHR Art Satchel. So let me get it on camera here. It's kind of huge, so it's going to be hard to get all this in frame, but I'm going to do my best here. So the ETCHR Art Satchel is a brand new product. There was a previous version of it that the company made a year or 2 ago, and this is sort of the new and improved version. Now this video is not sponsored by them in any way. This is just a product that I think is really good for more extensive, serious plein air painting. So that's why I'm showing it to you. So this is kind of a monster. So like I said, it's in person, it's probably, oh, I don't know. It's probably 15 to 18 inches across, and it's a couple inches thick. It expands a lot though, so there is that. So I'm going to walk you through why this is a great thing to have if you're more serious about plein air painting. And just so you know, this is not the only thing like this. There are other satchels made for on-the-go painting. There are actually kind of a lot of them, but this one is the best one that I have ever seen, that I've ever tried. So that's why I'm showing it to you. But there are definitely other things if you're interested in something else. This launches on Kickstarter this month. I'm pretty sure, so I'll leave links below if you're interested in that. But once again, not sponsored in any way, just something that I have found kind of invaluable if you're really serious about painting on the go. So this, the real advantage of this is its customizability. So I'll show you around here. So it's got these little hooks here that hold the front flap in place. The flap opens up, and it's got all these MOLLE hookups. That's M-O-L-L-E. I believe they were designed originally for military use, but basically it's a strap system. So there are like water bottles that are compatible with MOLLEs. There are extra little cases that are compatible with MOLLEs. So that's what this whole front section is. It's also got these Velcro straps. Got this front pocket. It's actually kind of intimidating. There are so many pockets and sections of this. And what I like though is that it really is very customizable. Like if you look at all these little components, all these little pockets, You know, if you felt like, oh my gosh, I just don't need all this, the whole thing comes out. Is Velcro. So the whole thing can be removed and you don't have to deal with it. So I think that is really nice. An awesome feature. And that's what makes this sort of a great product, even if you paint in something other than watercolor, because there are just a lot of options. So, and then there's a pocket here. There are basically endless pockets. So that's the front part of it. And let me flip it over here. There are handles on almost all sides. There's a handle here. There's a handle on the top side up here. So let me flip it over. Okay, so another awesome feature. This is something I know the other artists are going to go just wild for this. And that is, it has a tripod thread. So I will tell you about why you would want to use it that way, how you could use it that way in a couple minutes, but it has that feature. Very cool. So if you don't notice right away, right now this is in a messenger bag style, the strap, but you can actually unhook it and you can have it be backpack style, which is really cool. There are little clips down here to clip it in. Let's see, where is it? This one goes here. Hook this up here. And that's really nice because depending on where you are taking this, there definitely is a good chance that you might have to carry it for a while, and that could get really heavy. So particularly this, this changeable messenger bag backpack strap would be awesome for urban sketching. So see, now it's oh my gosh, I can't talk. Now it is backpack straps instead of a messenger bag strap. So that is an awesome feature. And let's open up the back here if I can find the zipper. So there are actually 4 different ways that you can use this. Like I said, this is a little intimidating. Don't get intimidated. Because once you get the hang of this, it is not complicated. But there are 4 distinct different ways that you can configure the satchel. And like I said, that's part of what makes it really great no matter what you, what medium you like to use. So I'm opening up the back here. I'm going to walk you through all those 4 ways in a minute. So I'm opening up the back here. And as you can see, this is the inside. As you can imagine, all these little elements are Velcro and changeable. Sorry if it's like, if the camera is whiting it out over here. The white balance gets a little off sometimes when I have something black on the screen. But anyway, these are all movable Velcro things. These 2 are like little bungee squares. So what you could do is you could tuck a sketchbook underneath them or supplies. And then there are strips like this, which have little elastic pockets and they're Velcro. So you can move them to different parts of the case. And basically just the whole thing is really customizable. And these little squares are awesome because they've got these little elastic diagonal pieces. So you could tuck like your phone or your tablet, tuck the corners above them and hold it stable in there. So that is a really cool feature. Like I said, these all move around, so it can accommodate any size of device. So very cool. Obviously a very well thought out product. So now let's talk about the different ways that you can use it, okay? The 4 different configurations, just so that you can see the versatility of it, no matter what you like to paint. So the first mode is actually called laptop mode, and that's the mode we're in right now. So I can flip it over here. So either this way or that way. I'd probably do it this way, have the thinner side up. Basically laptop mode is it sits open like a laptop would. So you could put your paper here, maybe some of your supplies tucked in here, and you can have your reference photo up here, or have your device up here with your reference photo on it. And once again, this is assuming that you're using a reference photo. If you're plein air painting right from your subject, obviously you wouldn't have a reference photo, but you could still keep your phone up here. So storage as well, just in case you didn't want to bring, you know, your purse or put it in your pocket, you could put it in your bag. So this is laptop mode. Now, as you can see, the way this works is it's got this strap here that holds this bottom part to this open top part. So these straps are actually defective because, full disclaimer, I have the prototype version of this product. So they, the company saw the problem, they went ahead and they fixed it. So anyone that you might get or you might see in the future is going to have straps that are fixed. But right now these ones are defective. They don't open up enough and the little clips can slide right off the end there. But once again, they fixed that. Not going to be a problem going forward. But just so you know, if it looks like, well, that's not really working very well, that's why. So here is laptop mode. And I think this would be great for being in a coffee shop. It's clearly like a tabletop setting. So I think that'd be great for a coffee shop or a table or like sitting on your lap. So that would be mode 1. Let's talk about mode 2 and 3. So mode 2 and 3 are both tripod modes. So I'm not going to actually show this to you because as you may imagine, my tripod is currently holding up my camera that is filming the video. So I'm not going to show that to you, but it's really easy to understand. So I think you guys will get the gist. So as I mentioned, there's this tripod thread here at the bottom. This is really standard. So it fit my tripod. I tried it on. So not any weird size or anything. And what you would do is, oh, whoops, I had the zipper closed a little. Yeah, that's not going to help. What you would do is you would connect, I would recommend you take out the little piece of your tripod and screw it in instead of trying to screw the bag onto the tripod. Take out that little piece and put it on there and then mount it on the tripod. And there are 2 ways you can do it. You can do it so it looks more like laptop mode. So you have one part of it up here and then this part here. Now in this mode, you'd probably put your paper up here. So this is not the mode that I would use as a watercolorist because I don't like to have my paper upright because then my paint will drip, and unless that's the look I'm going for, it's going to ruin my painting. So the way that I would want to use it is tripod mode 2. And the way that that mode works is you would, once again, mount it to your tripod here, and this part would hang down. So I know this is a little hard to visualize, but it would be like this, and then this part hangs down over the edge in front of you. So once again, a little hard to visualize with our small frame of reference here, but that would be tripod mode 2. And in that mode, you would have your paper flat. So that would be the mode that would be better for watercolor. So 2 tripod modes. Depending on your tripod, you might have weight issues with tripod mode because the case is not light by any means. It's also not heavy, but you may have some things to make sure work before you take it out on location. So make sure that it's stable on your tripod if you're going to use it that way. And then the 4th mode is actually, I think, my favorite mode. I think it's just called standing mode. I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure it's just called standing mode. And the way that that works is you would turn the straps back into a messenger bag. I'm not going to do that right now because you guys saw me do that, but you would turn it back into a messenger bag, and you actually fold the bag itself. You fold it on itself. So once again, a little hard to see here, but you fold it on itself, and there's this super cute little clip. It's a really cute clip, and it holds the whole thing together. So it holds it flat and together, and then you'd have the messenger bag strap going from here to here over you. So you'd hold this against you. So this part would be against your torso, and you'd be able to work right here, and you'd be supporting it. So that's kind of my favorite mode because I could flip it open, you know, just standing somewhere, and like almost immediately be right to work here. So I am a huge fan of that mode. I think that's my favorite. That's what originally attracted me to this when I was looking at their first version of it. So, you know, obviously a very, very customizable product between the fact that all the elements are Velcro and super customizable, and the fact that it has like 4 different modes of using it. It's very customizable, and you could even store, you know, books in it or other stuff. You could use it as a bag. It doesn't have to be an art satchel all the time if you don't want it to be. They even have this, which is like the coolest thing. This whole pocket, the border of it is Velcro. So you would like just stick it on top, obviously, probably not on top of these, but you could just stick it to the Velcro part and you've got a whole nother pocket. It's even got a zipper. So, I mean, that is just super cool. I gotta say, that is really cool. So that is the ETCHR Art Satchel. Once again, not sponsored, just something that I like, and obviously a very complete choice if you are interested in something more serious with more longevity for plein air painting. So I'm gonna move this off camera because I can just tell it's probably making my hands like insanely white because it's black. It's probably blowing out the white balance. But that is the Art Satchel. And they also have this other thing, which is a field case. This one is more self-explanatory. It's basically just a really nicely made pencil case. Got a lot of elastic, pockets, zippers, obviously very well made. It's got those MOLLE straps, so you could actually hook it on to the Art Satchel. Even this is a pocket. So these are really, really well made too, which is what's also nice about them, is they're gonna last you a long time. And I found that art supplies can actually be kind of rough on my bags. Like I'll end up with weird paint stains on the inside of some of my bags, or like my brushes will like poke through them, or anyway, all sorts of stuff can happen. So durable, very well made product there. So I know somebody's gonna ask me if it's heavy. So here's what I'd say. It's a little heavy when it's completely packed full of stuff. But that doesn't really matter unless you're using it in standing mode. So I really like it in standing mode. I didn't think it was too heavy. I used it for about 45 minutes in standing mode once, and I didn't think it was too heavy for that time. But it's obviously, if you put a ton of paper in it, or if you should put a ton of books in it, that's obviously gonna make it heavier much faster. So the answer to, is it heavy? It's like, depending on what you put in it, it can be heavy. But if you use it in any of the other three modes, it really doesn't matter that much. I guess I would just say, if you're using it more as just a bag / backpack and not so much as an art thing, then it can get heavier. So no, it is not inherently heavy. You can definitely do it in a way that does not make you be like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy. So, so that's the ETCHR art case. I will leave links to it below once again if you want to check it out. And I will go and show you my speed painting of using it out on location. So that's a lot of fun. And as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave me a comment below if you have any questions. I'm no expert on plein air painting. I'd love to hear from any of you that have tried it out or have been interested in it. I really love the idealism behind it. So I'd love to hear from you. And you know the drill. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And thank you so much, as always, for watching, guys. Bye.